If you want to make simple paper flowers, white or colors, that are really cost effective for a party, an event, or just something fun to do with the kids, I'm going to show you how to do it with really simple, inexpensive supplies. Coffee filters, some food coloring, the liquid kind, twine or wire, and some scissors, and you are good to go. We're going to have so much fun with this. But before we begin, I want to make sure you have hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you are notified every time I post a new DIY party tip on my channel. My name is Tara Reed. I'm an artist and a party enthusiast, and I want to help you DIY your party so they think that you hired a pro. Now let's make flowers. I've been experimenting with this, and I want to show you some of the options. First, you have different colors. So you have a white coffee filter or this natural coffee filter. The natural I got at Walmart. It was $1.48 for 100, so about 6 cents per flower, because we're going to use 4 filters for each flower. The white I grabbed at Target, 200, so we can make 50, and I think it was like $1.59, so about 3 cents per flower when you go with white. So easiest thing to do is you just use them the color that they are. White, nice and bright. You could mix and match with some colored tissue paper flowers, or just make something really pretty and white. This natural color, it's great if you're doing something a little bit more rustic. You can also mix and match them to create just a beautiful neutral mood. The next thing to consider is how you're going to put them together. So a lot of videos that I saw, people were folding them and then cutting them into different flower shapes, just like you do with tissue paper. And I found that interesting, but you really don't have to do it. So let me show you some examples. This is just the coffee filters. I didn't cut anything. It's 4 of them. I tied them together. I'll show you how to do that in the end. And I think it looks super cute. This one, I folded and I cut. So you'll notice it's got a little bit more of a flower shape, like a petal shape to it. So it is a little bit of a different look, but not all that different. So if you're into making a lot and just need to fill a space and want to save time, just go with the coffee filter. If you want to do something different, go with cut shape. Now here's a different cut shape. This one I also cut, but I did kind of a pointed petal. All of these, I used a hole punch tied with twine to put them together. This one, I tried the staple method. It works well also, but I found it a little bit harder to puff out than the ones I did this way. I also feel like this is going to be good for tying things together. You're already going to have a little bit of string. But again, just showing you your options. Now that we have talked about the different ways they work, let me show you how to do it. So you're going to take 4 filters, and they're a lot thinner than you think. So it's really easy to get 2 put together. So the easiest way, we're going to put 4 together. You're going to fold it in half, crease that. I'm going to take a hole punch, and I'm going to punch a hole maybe a 1/2 inch from the fold in the center, right like that. Then I'm going to put the string through there and tie it in a knot. Now we're going to open it up, and I'm just going to hold down here with that hand. And I'm going to take the first coffee filter, and I'm just going to scrunch it. I'm going to take it and kind of pinch it all together right here. And that's going to create the center of the flower. Then I'm just going to do the same with each other layer, just scrunching it. And as you move it around, you can see how it's going to fold in and out. You can organize that the way you want it. And this just comes together really quickly. You're just going to do that 4 times and you're done. Probably with the cost of string, that's a 4-cent flower. Isn't that amazing? Now let's say we want a little more of a petal shape. We're going to get 4 more. Fold them in half, just like we did with the last one. Then we're going to fold it in half again. So we have a 1/4 round, and fold it 1 more time. Now you could fold it 1 more time, but then it gets really hard to cut. So I recommend just folding it 1, 2, 3 times. And if you want a smaller flower or a smaller petal, you're just going to cut almost like the top of a heart to the center. So see how that kind of looks like a heart? Now we're going to open that up, back to halfway, and then we're going to punch the hole. But let me just show you, so I'm not showing you 15 of these. We're going to take center one, I'm going to refold it, and I'm going to cut it again, but about an inch down so that this part is going to be even smaller. And we can even, let's try 3 loops so it makes it even more accentuated that it's the center of the flower. Then we're going to put that back in the center of these flowers. Oh, now before we fold it in half and do the hole, we want to pivot these so the petals aren't all lined up, but we want them all centered. But see how they're not all lined up? Okay, fold it in half, hole punch. Okay, just like the other one, we're going to open it up. We're going to scrunch the center. I'm going to make sure it kind of puffs out and doesn't just fold in on itself. And then do the other 3 layers. But see how cutting that center one shorter gives it a little bit of a fancier flower look. So this is the one that we just did, plain coffee filters, and this one we cut it. So it's a little bit smaller because we did cut off a little bit. See the size of that, but it's also a little fancier, a little bit different. Might be nice to do a variety of those in whatever you're planning. And we'll do one in natural. Instead of doing a heart shape that's kind of curved, I'm going to do 2 points. See, that gives a very different shape. I'm going to cut the center one a little bit smaller. And just like the last one, I did 3 instead of 2. So that's how you would make a pointed flower. And again, it's smaller than just using the coffee filter by itself, but it's a different look, so it's kind of fun. Now, if you do decide to shape your flowers, you're going to end up with a bunch of trash. So I highly recommend getting one of these little things. This is called a Bitty Buddy from the Gypsy Quilter. I love it. I just sit it on there. I can put all my trash in there. And then when I'm done, I just take it and dump it. You can make beautifully colored flowers by using food coloring and the different coffee filters. So I've pre-dyed some, but I'm going to show you how to do it as well. You need to get liquid food coloring. Harder to find than you would think. I got this at Target. Most places are selling gel food coloring because it works better when you're mixing it into icing. It gives more vibrant colors than this, but this is like what you need to dye Easter eggs, and this is what you need to dye coffee filters. In this bowl, I just put some water, mixed some red in there, and then I dyed these 2 different ways. So this coffee filter, I'll show you this one. I dipped it in the bottom, and then I took it out, and I just let the color absorb up the sides. And this is red, it basically turns pink. It's hard to get it much more vibrant than that, but here's how this looks on the white, the same color on the white. This is a cut edge. This is just the coffee filter. By mistake, I got one way too wet, and so it covered the whole thing and it dried totally flat. That creates a very different look. It's kind of cool when you put it together. So this is this one, this coffee filter, and this is made out of these flat ones. So it gives a much more flat edge flower look. Now this is interesting. This is the natural color coffee filter in the same exact color as the white, but you'll see the color looks really different on the different colors of paper. It looks much more peach, a more soft, kind of romantic look, and this is a little bit more vibrant. So depending on which color coffee filter you use will depend on what color the dye looks. This is like an artist's dream. I'm playing with color and science. So much fun. So that's that. Then I also played with mixing colors. I mixed red and yellow to create orange, because you get green, blue, red, and yellow. So if you mix these 2, you can create a fun orange. That's what I did here. And what I found to be very interesting is whenever you mix 2 colors, one of the colors, and I don't know why, one of the colors always absorbs more. So you get a 2-tone to your coffee filter. I did not do that on purpose at all. I dipped it in one thing, and that is just how it settled on my coffee filter. I tried to do purple. I found purple to be a lot harder than I expected. You mix red and blue to make purple, but it never quite went purple. And again, it pulled separately. The blue always pulls up more than the red. So this is the best I got, and I did equal drops of blue and red to get this color. So you'll see by playing with the different food colorings, either straight out of the bottle, yellow, red, or mixing them to make purple and orange, you can create flowers in all different colors, but still for pennies on the dollar with coffee filters. Always put something down to protect your workspace. I like to work on cookie trays. You can also put paper towels down on it if you want to help absorb any drips, but I just make sure I keep it inside and I'm good to go. When you're coloring it, you're just going to take one coffee filter at a time, turn it upside down, just dip it in there, kind of let it drip off a little bit, and then now you'll see it doesn't go very high up. It's going to absorb a lot higher. So this is what it looks like when it dries. This is what it looks like right now. And this is the same exact color. Then you're just going to let that dry right there. One day when I was practicing, I did some yellow ones, and then I did some orange next to it. And because the orange touched, the orange went into the yellow. So I would recommend just doing one color on each cookie sheet or each workspace, unless you don't mind having this happen. If you want to create them like this, you're going to totally soak it in here, put the entire coffee filter under water, and then you're going to put it out and spread it out on here to dry. You can overlap them while they're drying. I'm not going to do it right now because I did learn that if you do that without gloves, your fingers will turn red. So wear gloves if you're going to make them like this. You don't have to move anything because they're all totally flat. Crumple that because it's flat to begin with. It just gives you a very different edge and shape to it. So it looks like a different kind of flower than what you're making with the coffee filter that's maintaining that back and forth shape of the coffee filter. Look at how pretty that is. So this and this and this are all made with the white coffee filters, not cut at all, cut to a shape, flattened when it was colored, and they just make a beautiful variation. And then this one colored and painted, not cut. So another way you can add some accent and decorate these is to put paint on the edges. So this one, I did cut the edges and then I just took paint and put it on the edges. So it's white with a pink edge. You can also dye your coffee filters, let them dry, and then add the pink edge. So that gives two variations. So I'll just show you on one. I just dab on the edges and some of it might run down. I'm not overly particular about it because it's just to add accent, and flowers aren't perfect. So it's not like we need, perfect 1/4 inch all the way around. So you just do that on all 4 of your flowers and let that dry. There's so many ways to play with these coffee filters. If you're working with kids, they can color them with markers. You can do multiple colors. You can take a eyedropper and drop different colors of food coloring in different places, but I don't want this to be an hour-long video. So I'm just showing you a few of the easiest ways to get this done. So I think that's lots of ideas to get you started. And these would be a lot of fun either on their own. You could do so many things. You could hook a pipe cleaner to the bottom, add little leaves, put them in a vase. You could put them along a table. You could put them on a photo backdrop wall. So many ways to use them. These are some great basics to get you started with making flowers that are beautiful and inexpensive with coffee filters.